I was going to do this rubbish intro where I held a croissant and then the shoe because we're talking about the Paris edition of the shoe. But since, as of the time of filming, it's Easter Sunday, all the shops are closed, so here I am explaining a joke. It's great, huh? What's good everyone on YouTube? It's me again, back with another video. And today we are talking about another Nike, as you know, just recently Nike dropped the On Air collection, which consisted of 6 Air Maxes. And for those who don't know about the On Air collection, basically Nike got a bunch of different people from different cities. I think we had NYC, London, Tokyo, Paris, Seoul, and I'm forgetting one, but I'm sorry if you're from that city, but I forgot. But basically they got the bunch of people to redesign some Air Maxes, and then of all the designs, 3 finalists were chosen, and then the people were able to vote. And today on the channel we've actually got the Paris rendition, which was designed by, I hope I get this right, Lou Mathron or something like that. I probably say that really Australian. But basically her inspiration for this particular shoe was this idea of Paris work in progress. So this sort of construction site industrial look. Or at least that's what I've read around. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe I can like put some links somewhere. Maybe I'll put it in the description. I need some serious descriptions finally. But enough faffing around. Today we are talking about the Air VaporMax Plus OA LM. So the OA is On Air, then LM is Lou Mathron in the, I'm gonna call it the work in progress rendition. So with the intro out of the way, let's get into the box. So for the On Air collection, all the shoes that I've seen so far come in this exact same sort of glossy black flip top box. So we've actually got no branding really on it except for the Nike on this side. And then on the top we've got the Nike On Air print or logo right at the top. Smooth as always. And just wanted to point out, for some reason, this particular shoe was rather big. The shoe box was rather big considering the size of the shoe, because I've got another On Air shoe here, and the box is maybe a good 1/5 smaller than this. But enough talking about Nike's ethics about packaging. If we flip open the box, we're actually greeted with some special paper. Hey guys, forgot to mention, inside the Paris box, we actually get a postcard that says Paris, and in this particular rendition it's got like a sort of Photoshop toolbar on the side, and it's in complete black and white. And then on the other side we actually have a message from Lou herself, and hopefully I'm getting someone to read this. I hope I can get this in time, but if anyone can translate this down in the comments, go ahead. If not, I'll play a voice recording that I hopefully will find of someone reading this and translating it for me. Anyway, back to the box. And on this paper, you've got the cities that the On Air program was run in printed all over it. So actually, let me find out. So we've got London, Shanghai, that's the other one, Seoul, Paris, Tokyo, NYC, and I think that's it. Geez, I'm not reading everything very well. But it's all over the paper. And then inside the shoe, there was just some sort of standard wrapping paper. And actually unique to this shoe, and actually any shoe that I've ever seen, we've actually got some extra swooshes, but the unique thing was that because there are some small parts, we've actually got the 0 to 3 Sad Onion logo, because we don't want kids swallowing this. You'll understand in a bit. So I'll actually pull out what's inside. So we've got these extra swooshes with holes in it. It comes with a neon orange pair and then some white ones. And then right here, we've actually got this little keychain looking thing. And what this actually is, if you unscrew the top, is a flathead screwdriver. I'm hoping the camera picks that up. And you'll find out soon enough what this is used for. And the reason for the small pieces and the sad onion is because it actually comes with this extra set of screws at the bottom. So we've got a bigger screw here and a smaller screw here. So, already getting you excited as to what these screws are supposed to be, but we'll find out soon enough. And if we read the label, it reads Air VaporMax Plus OA LM. So, the retail price. Of the entire On Air collection, this actually was the most expensive of the collection. I purchased these off Nike AU for 310 Australian dollars. I'll put the conversion here. And for 310 Australian dollars, I do get, because it's a VaporMax is plus usually retail at 280, so for an extra 30 bucks for a special edition, I get it. Still stings, but yeah, like honestly, I would not be surprised if you might be able to get these cheaper, because as of recording this on Nike AU, there is a full size run pretty much still on the website. So if anyone is looking to wait for a bit, who knows, you might get lucky. And with the box out of the way, let's get into the shoes. And here we are, the Nike Air VaporMax Plus OA LM in the Paris Work in Progress colorway. I'm just gonna call it that. So if any of you have been watching the channel for a while, of all 26 or 27 of you, you'd know one of my first videos was actually on the Air VaporMax Plus in that Obsidian colorway. So a lot of the technical stuff will probably be skimmed over in this video just because I did a video about it already. But I will just mention some of the additions and I guess removals of features on this shoe in comparison to that one. So the most obvious thing I have to point out, and a lovely addition to this shoe in my opinion, is we've actually got screw-on swooshes on the side of the shoe. So that flathead screwdriver I showed earlier in the video, you can actually use it to unscrew the screws on the side and replace the swooshes. And I just think in terms of like this industrial look, it goes extremely well with this shoe. And then going over the swoosh and around the entire shoe and actually lacing around to the bottom, we've actually got this strap that can be tightened or loosened, and it is magnetic as well, so you can completely pull it apart and it will come off completely. So I'm just gonna have to slide this back on. Always smooth with the videos, huh? And then instead of having the usual laces, we've actually got this extra layer of rubber on each side and this elastic band. So this shoe is essentially a slip-on now, and it's pretty convenient for what it is. And on the other side, we actually don't have a swoosh. We've got a sort of dotted line outline of the Nike swoosh. And then on the back, we've got the VN Air. And on the pull tab, we've actually got this latitude and longitude coordinates, which I haven't actually checked, but I'm assuming this will lead you to Paris. Kind of goes with the theme. And a unique thing about this compared to the regular VaporMax Plus and actually the Air Max Plus in general is the removal of the usual veiny lines that kind of run across the entire shoe. That was one thing that I found was a bit of a sticking point when I was looking at it online, because for me, the Air Max Plus, or the TN for my Australian boys, the Air Max Plus is the veins in my opinion. Like, you can't have an Air Max Plus without the veins, it just seems odd. But I'll get more into my opinions a bit later in the video. And last sort of unique thing to touch on is the elastic actually has the sort of like cross lines as if it was like industrial tape. And then if we look on the insole, we've got the sort of industrial sort of tape as well with the orange and gray, the sort of, Christ. And yeah, that's pretty much the main features of this particular Paris pair. And in terms of cushioning, what we've got here is a foam setup on top of the VaporMax air bubbles. So we all know VaporMax are those like highly compressed airbags that sit underneath, and unlike, you know, older Air Maxes, this is completely free from any sort of foam encapsulation. So I'll get more into comfort later into the video. Now in terms of sizing, if you saw that old video, you probably heard that I recommended going up a half size on that. Just because of how shallow the toe box is, you can see your toes if you go true to size. And me personally, I don't like the way that looks, so I opted to go half size up for that pair. But because this is a slip-on, I would highly recommend you go true to size, because if this doesn't fit you, there is no way you're gonna really tighten this shoe that much, aside from maybe the strap, but it only tightens in one particular area. So my recommendation would be go true to size on this shoe. Now, in terms of comfort, I mentioned before in my other video, but I actually think the VaporMax Plus is more comfortable than a regular VaporMax. Just this extra layer of foam allows it so that it's comfortable when you're just standing around, because with the regular VaporMax, you've just got like a hard, I guess, plastic board that stands on top of the air bubble. While in this version, you've got the foam, which allows for some like nice sort of cushion when you're standing around. And then you still have that VaporMax air bubble, which makes it comfortable when you're walking around. It still makes the weird squeaky noises, but you know, what are you gonna do? Now in terms of the upper, these additions don't really get in the way. They're actually, the rubber overlay is pretty soft, so in terms of the flexibility, it's actually not too bad. And they still use the same kind of neoprene mesh, I would say. So aside from being like a little bit warm, I wouldn't say hot, just a bit warm. I would say the upper is pretty good, and the bottom is, I would say, very nice. Now I get into the part of the video where I talk about my opinions on this shoe. And to be 100 with you guys, I actually thought initially this was the worst of the collection. I actually was very surprised that this one was the one that won from the Paris lineup. I think for me personally, I was voting for that Air Max 180 that was being shown. Now I understand that 180 wasn't changed that much from the original silhouette, but I just thought when this was the one announced as the winner, I just couldn't believe this was the one that people were voting for and ready to buy. But if you guys don't know, usually I film this before I film the on-feet shot. But for this time, I filmed the on-feet of this particular shoe before filming this. And I must say, this shoe really does look quite good on feet in my opinion. I just like the high contrast of this particular yellow swoosh with the sort of blue and grey colours. And it really does have this industrial work in progress vibe to it. So concept wise, I think it really nails it. And honestly, it is quite a comfortable shoe. It slips on really easily. And aside from the fact I almost rolled my ankle in this because it is really high off the ground, but aside from that, honestly, I have really grown to like this shoe. Like, I've really warmed up to it. And before I was seriously considering returning this pair, but I might actually end up keeping it in the end. I'm not too sure just yet, but overall I would just say on feet and in person, I actually think this looks leaps and bounds better. And with that, we've come to the end of another video. So I would love to hear what you think about the Air VaporMax Plus by Lou Matheron. Oh jeez, I'm probably butchering her name. And out of the entire On Air collection, where would you rank this particular pair amongst the rest? Me personally, this was the last place, the 6th one in my opinion. But having seen these in person and worn them on feet, I might honestly put these 5th or maybe 4th. I'm not too sure just yet. If you're wondering what I put at the bottom now, I think the Londons are probably the weakest out of the collection. So we'll see once I finally see most of the pairs, because I happened to get 5 out of the 6. Didn't get the Shanghais, but the Shanghais were pretty cool. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. And now time for the on feet portion where you get to see the full bubble in all its glory. And I'll catch you guys in another video.